Over there, on the other side of the river, is my favorite skyline. Yeouido-dong, the neighborhood island on the Han River. That's what we're gonna explore together next. It's a neighborhood that many people know very well, but do you though? You're about to find out today. Let's go.
To get to Yeouido, you can either swim the river or take line 9 to one of these 3 stations. Or line 5 to Yeouido Station or Yeouido Station.
So Yeouido has a really cool name. The story goes that it means you can have it or useless. Because long ago, Yeouido Island was floating all the time. So it was useless. No one wanted to have it. No one could use it for anything except for some farming. These days, if you give me a small piece, even if it's a square centimeter, I will be very happy because it's worth a lot of money. 여기 아파트 비쌀 것 같아요, 아니에요?
여기 비싸.
이거 다 비싸요?
이거 하나에 30억이야.
Wow. You could put it in the list of Gangnam and Hanam. That's how expensive that place is today. Living there, that makes you a buja, definitely a buja.
The fun starts with crossing the river. Yeouido's unique skyline is impressive from all angles.
If you approach Yeouido from the bridge, you get a feeling of the scale because you see all the way on the right, which is the west side, you see the government assembly building, and all the way on the left you see Yeouido-dong building. Definitely this thing here is necessary. Here we are in Yeouido, and I'm starting on the west side. It's the place where you have the government assembly, and it's one of the first, if not so, the first building built on Yeouido. And around the government assembly there are many other government offices. Hopefully it's not too boring. So we're now in front of the government assembly of Korea. Honestly, I've never been so close. This is where the fantastic policies in Korea are being made. I must say that the building is more impressive from a distance than from up close, because from a distance you can see the big dome.
Of course, it's Korea, and nothing is ever boring. In front of the government assembly, many mini demonstrations are taking place. Where there's a government, there's also the media. Although less than before, many offices can still be found nearby.
So a lot of government offices, the government assembly, that means that there are also a lot of broadcasting companies. And here on my right there's SBS. You see that they are in buildings a bit older than the average building here on the island. Not older than the 70s though, because that's when the development started. So they need to be close to where the action happens, and that's the government assembly, right?
I quickly have to correct myself. Broadcasting companies SBS and NBC have left the island. Only KBS remains.
There are a lot of broadcasting companies here. So what they do whenever they talk about another area in the news, wildfire, disaster or whatever, they compare the size with Yeouido. So they say it's like 5 Yeouidos.
During break times or in rush hour, you might have a hard time maneuvering through the streets. Office workers go out in masses for a walk, coffee or a quick bite.
Okay, goodbye Tarangi. And I parked my bike here near the biggest church in Korea. By the way, talking about the church, it's crazy to think that this church has over 400,000 members. Insanely big.
Yeouido Park, a park that has gone through several transformations. I love the contrast of green and grey high-rise buildings. But underneath the green surface lies a secret, a mystery that was only discovered recently. We'll get there in a minute.
So we're now one of my favorite places, which is kind of like Central Park in New York. It's called Yeouido Park. It's right in the middle, a big stretch of land, rectangle. And there's actually very special, or something very special about this park, which I will explain in a minute. We need to walk a little bit more. So we're now at the end of the park, and finally I can talk about the big secret. I don't know, it's just history, guys. Anyway, this used to be an airstrip built by the Japanese Imperial Army, used for a long time for international flights, for domestic flights, and as a military air base. And then Korea was liberated, they kept using it as an airport, although the location was a little bit stupid. You know, the Japanese didn't think it through, because in summer, during the rainy season, they couldn't use it. That was one of the reasons why it moved to Gimpo Airport. It was the end of this airstrip, and I guess that this is probably the last remaining asphalt of that airstrip from back in the old days when Yeouido was nothing more than an airfield. So if you look from here, from the middle of the park, straight forward, on the right side you see all the high-rise buildings, the financial district, new shiny development. On the left side you see the older buildings from the 70s around the government assembly, but they are all low-rise because there used to be a law, in my opinion, a strange law, but it was that the buildings around the government assembly were not allowed to be higher. There was a height restriction than the government assembly. Now you even have Park 1, which is one of the highest skyscrapers in Korea.
Underneath the financial hub of Korea lies an 871 square meter bunker.
So next we go to the Sema bunker, recommended by many of you guys. The bunker underneath the ground here of Yeouido Park.
It was uncovered by chance during renovations of a bus transfer station. That's not the weirdest thing. No official record was ever found on the underground bunker. Fitted with a comfy couch, toilets and shower facilities. You can't make this up. It is believed it was built around 1976 or 1977. The city assumes it was created for President Park Chung-hee. Because right above the bunker was the president's review stand to inspect the military parades on October 1st, Armed Forces Day. Whoever built this can still be alive.
That was a very interesting place. It was too silent inside, so I couldn't really talk. But another entrance on the bus stop, that's also where they found it when they did constructions of the bus stop. The secret bunker on Yeouido Island. How cool is that? I gebruik material.
They found the entrance right here, underneath the bus stop. Before we slowly move into the residential area and past the financial district, it's time for a local lunch. What do Yeouido suited men and women eat?
당신세예요?
예.
당신세.
먹이 주니까 먹이를 주니까 여기 와 이렇게 와서 달라고.
그래요? 여기 맛집 어디에 있어요?
네?
맛집?
아니야 이제 땅콩을 주니까.
땅콩. 다른 맛집 아세요?
어디 맛집?
맛집.
맛집.
네, 점심. 맛있는 점심.
영원 식당도 있고 수제비 영원 식당도 있고 영원 식당이 저 이름이 있는데 저 수제비집.
그런가요?
여기로 들어가서
네.
지금 시간에 사람이 많다는 건 모르겠다. 여기서 2층 올라가면 돼. 2층 올라가면 돼.
알겠어요? 네. 안녕하세요. 거기에 제일 맛있어요?
네.
왜 어떤 음식이에요?
수제비.
혼자요? 괜찮아요?
네. 이거는 유튜브로 봤어요.
네, 감사합니다.
I am terrible at expressing my feelings for foodies or eating, but I can tell you this sujebi was more than delicious. The recommendation was no joke, and the restaurant was not what I expected in Yeouido. Old and authentic.
Well, that was seriously the best sujebi I ever had. Let's check out the apartment buildings. Now we are on the east side of Yeouido. East side means more residential, more apartment buildings. Here on my left, you have the apartment buildings from the 70s. Well, built in the 70s. You can see so that they look really old, but ironically they are also quite expensive. One of the most expensive neighborhoods here in Korea. Here, the new constructions of new apartment buildings has begun, and wow, they look brand new.
Against my expectations, Yeouido did surprise me. Although I have visited many times, the skyline is impressive not only from afar but also from within. This place has many Shibuya-like places. Perfect for people watchers like me.
Somebody recommended me this building, go to Tusam coffee shop and sit on the second floor and look at all the office workers walking by during rush hour. Well, it's not rush hour, I'm not in Tusam place, but I'm in the same building and I went to the rooftop. How freaking nice this is. Look how cool this is. Check this out. cool residential area. You can see Yeouido-dong between the old 70s apartment blocks. And it's very peaceful here. You wouldn't say that you're in the middle of the city, but you are. 무서워 보여요. 무서워 보여요.
뭐가?
그거.
그래 보수. 어느 나라야?
네덜란드에서 왔어요.
네덜란드?
네. 여기 여의도 구경하고 있어요.
아,
네, 궁금해요.
궁금해. 텐트 치래 텐트.
아, 페인트? 아, 페인트 하세요?
이거는 이제 크랙인데 땜빵하고.
네.
그런 다음에 여기다 이제 텐트다.
그 무섭지 않아요? 그거?
안 높아요. 이거 2층인데 뭐.
안 높아요? 이거 안 높아요?
50층이가 50층.
아, 50층?
이건 2층이 아닌데.
높아요. 네, 높아 보여요. So, I arrived at Yeouido-dong building and I was amazed by all the painters here. According to the man earlier that these buildings aren't that high, but in my opinion, fear of height, man. Oh man, you don't want to know. Anyway, Yeouido-dong building right here next to the residential area. So let's check it out. It used to be the highest building other than North America. And Yeouido-dong is actually a confusing name because it is not 63 floors high, because 3 of those 63 floors are in the basement. 전망대.
전망대요.
내리막 쓴 신규 작품은
안녕하세요. 자, 너무 깨끗해요. 네, 감사합니다. 잠깐, 네, 감사합니다. So here you see the end of Yeouido. There's the small river going all the way around it. It's hard to imagine that this once was one of the highest buildings in Korea.
I felt Yeouido could easily be divided into a financial, a governmental and a residential part. But taking it all together, it comes close to what I know as Manhattan in New York. So let's call it Seoul's Manhattan and call it a day. Houdoe.